Okay, and I'll have to reshare. And welcome back to First Last Podcast from the First, the Last, the Nerdum, where we've spent the last month celebrating masked maniacs, creative kills, and all the bloody gore that makes the slasher genre so much fun. But every summer has to come to an end. And we're ending ours with one of the most outrageous cult classics ever to be ever put to film. Welcome to the final week of Slasher Summer. This week, we're taking a look at the 1982 Spanish slasher Pieces. Directed by Juan Picar Simon, Pieces is the kind of movie that throws subtlety out the window within the first few minutes, and it never looks back. Set on a college campus where students are being brutally murdered and dismembered, the film follows a determined investigation to uncover a killer who's collecting body parts for a gruesome purpose. Is the plot completely ridiculous? Absolutely. Are the performances delightfully over the top? Without question. Does any of that stop Pieces from becoming one of the most entertaining bonkers slashers of the early 80s? Not even close. Over the years, Pieces has earned a devoted cult following thanks to its outrageous gore, unintentionally hilarious dialogue, unforgettable scenes, and its willingness to go bigger, bloodier, and crazier than just about every slasher of its era. It's the kind of movie that horror fans introduce to their friends just to watch their reactions. We'll be talking about the film's legacy, its place in the slasher boom of the early 1980s, and whether Pieces is truly a hidden gem or simply glorious cinematic insanity. So sharpen your chainsaw, keep your anatomy textbooks handy, and remember the film's legendary tagline. It's exactly what you think it is. This is First Last Podcast, and we're closing out Slasher Summer with the Blood Soul Cult Classic Pieces. That's right. Okay. Oh, apparently I just. All right. Script ends. Script
pieces.
Yeah. Teleprompter. Script ends. Script ends. Oh, terrible reading by Mike. But yeah, no. This one was very, very interesting. Very, very. This is, I think, the perfect capstone, and I'm so glad that I didn't do the one that I was thinking of before, which maybe we'll get into. But first, Tom. We do this little thing called the First Last Nerdum, and we're going to pay some bills here, so to speak. We are the First Last Nerdum at FirstLastNerdum.com, and you can also find us somewhere on a tiny little website called YouTube. Also at First Last Nerdum. But I guess we got the end of our slasher summer. So for those of you who are not familiar, we did Alice Sweet Alice, we did Sleepaway Camp, and then I think we did The Burning. Yeah, we did The Burning, which was the other three summer slashers that we did. Very, very different takes. But I'll throw it back to you, Tom, to see where you are and what you are doing online. Kind of.
So we're finishing up Slasher Summer. It's been a big success, I think. We got we picked up a couple of subscribers over the break we had. So thank you for subscribing. I'm keeping up. I've been on a good streak with the shorts. I've been just uploaded a new one today for the Greatest American Hero comic book. So if you're into the comic books as well, you can check out our shorts. That's usually where I'll be recommending stuff. I tend to lean more towards horror and fantasy, but you gotta, when there's a Greatest American Hero. First Last Nerdum.
Sorry, Tom. If you could repeat the last 30 or 40 seconds, it muted. I don't know. Anyway.
There's gremlins in here, but no. Now I was just switching over to our socials. I'm on Reddit under First Last Nerdum, where I go to various subreddits that pertain to what we're talking about and try to promote her stuff. Sometimes it's successful, sometimes it's not. This month I've been creeping around Slasher Films subreddit, and they've been very nice to me. So if you're coming over from there, hello. And then I'm also on X under FirstLastNerdum as well. That's where I'll promote our stuff, and then I'll maybe post something nerdy every once in a while. That's in the nerd universe. But that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
Yes, sir. I have decided that I'm gonna do this for a little bit. YouTube to be my landing page, and I guess it's kind of like a place where some of our test stuff goes. And sometimes I'll do a record or stream to the thing to kind of see how it goes. But you can see early Tom and Mike on my thing. I'm gonna do something with this a little bit later on to make it. I don't know, something. I got to do something online, so I just want to do something that's not AI slop infested, whether it be LinkedIn or whether it be other social medias. I can't. I'm allergic to all of it, and I just can't. But I do like videos, and I like Tom, and I like our channel, and I like all of you out there who like to watch something cool and fun, and occasionally will venture out forth with us for like our little series that we do. And this is one. I was so excited I'm so glad that you picked this one, because the other ones are I feel like the other ones that we've done were bad, but they had a complete story to tell for the most part. Like nothing was like, really, really terrible or whatever. But this one, like this movie is a full and complete movie, but it also takes things and dials them up when they don't need to be. And it doesn't tell you. It's very frenetic with how it does. It's like it doesn't explain anything to you, and it just kind of assumes, and it just kind of takes liberties, and it goes off. And you know what? It works. It works very well. So this was such kind of a good relief valve, like one kind of like where you could laugh, you could enjoy the shock value, you could enjoy kind of the more eccentric nature of slasher films, like from a movie that maybe kind of doesn't know what it wants to be, but it still takes itself seriously, and it forces you to, and it causes unintentional humor in different spots. And like, there's also like the attention span on what the camera shows and what it sees is just, there is no explaining it. So it was a wonderful diversion for this, but still keeping in our thing. So I don't have any history with this particular film, but as I like to do, I like to ask you if you have any history, what your background is with this guy, and why'd you pick it?
Yeah, it's one of those movies. Like I said, when my younger years, I kind of stayed away from slashers. And this is one of those. I think it came out in '82. Didn't reach America until '83. But yeah, I was definitely not really into horror in '83. So it flew under my radar. About 10 years ago, I was really heavy into a horror podcast where they would talk about horror movies. And one of them that it was coming out on Blu-ray, which I picked up at that time. And I think it was like 2000. I think I picked it up in 2016. I think it came out actually in 2013. And someone they were recommending it on the podcast. And I said, oh, that sounds interesting. So I had to I had to try it. I made one mistake when I did it, because I thought, I thought it was going to be more of a serious slasher movie. And so I listened to it in its original Spanish audio, and I think you lose quite a bit doing it that way. And after I watched it, I was like, I don't really see the point of it. And then I started rewatching it a little bit in English, and I was like, oh, now I get it. So that's I did. I figured you'd watch it with the American dialogue, but
I did.
I think before you went out to watch it, I told you to watch it with the English.
Yeah.
Because there's some classic lines in it. So yeah, I don't have like like a decades long history with this movie. It's just in the past decade. I've been familiar with it. It's one of those movies that when we talk about slasher, I think we kind of went more maybe early slasher where with the other movies where they were still kind of nailing down what a slasher was, and this movie kind of nails all the tropes of a slasher movie with, the naked ladies, people having sex, and a guy with both a chainsaw and a knife. I don't think he wears a mask in this. I think in the first kill he does like a little goggles and mask, but more of a the Shadow kind of vibe going on with them, which I think they modeled him after.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's also like some of the levity is kind of like where it's all like most slashers. Like there's an iconic kind of like a kill uniform, I guess, or kill kit, and this doesn't stray from that whatsoever. It's also kind of hard, to hide a chainsaw, but they do it. And they do it in plain sight a few times, which just adds to the nature of the thing. Yeah, this one was interesting. It is definitely a Jigsaw kind of, a pun intended.
That was the original title of it, was Jigsaw.
Yeah, which makes sense with pieces, but in more than one thing, and obviously this. But I did trip over like probably one of the best taglines I had seen. I think I saw it in like somebody had commented on it, and it was like, you don't need to go to Texas for a chainsaw, something or other. Yeah. I thought that was clever, very very clever. Very. They knew it definitely. This movie has confidence, maybe a little bit more than it should have for it is, but it definitely has confidence. And it like I said, it's got
cojones.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it has no problem standing up and doing what it wants to do when it does it, because because sometimes it doesn't remember to bring the audience with it, which adds to the truth. And some of that could be because this is what you did. I believe this was a Spanish American. You had put that in the notes.
It was produced by Spanish, Spanish, Italian, and American. There's like 3 different producers. One was Spanish, one was Italian, one was American. The American one, he had also produced Friday the 13th. So if you're an eagle-eyed viewer if you're watching that movie, I think in one of the dorm rooms, I think Kendall's dorm room, there's a Friday the 13th movie poster on the wall. It's
they do little subtle nods like that too throughout. I wonder if we'll comment or find commonality on them.
Yeah, and this one starts off with a big axe over the head. The little kid, he's putting together a naughty puzzle, and his mom finds it, and she goes off on him, and he decides he really wants to play with this puzzle, and he knocks off Mommy Dearest.
Timmy. Little Timmy Reston.
Yep, and he decides to chop her up, and then it flashes forward 40 years, and
42 to 82. Yeah.
Yeah, and Timmy's all grown up, and he decides. Now, it's not obvious in the thing, but there was an interview with the girl on the skateboard, and she kind of explains what's going on in the first scene. She's skating around on her skateboard, and she ends up crashing into a mirror, this big mirror thing, and she survives it, and then she's out on the park, on the lawn. At the university, and Timmy decides to cut off her head with chainsaw. But yeah,
that's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
yeah, and so the idea was, the way she said it, and it makes sense that
in the interview, right?
Yeah, in the interview, she was talking about how it's the guy that because there's a mystery on which person is really the killer, who's Timmy, all grown up. But evidently he, there's a question of why does he start killing again 40 years later? But the thing is he's walking to work and he sees her crash into the mirror, and it makes him, and it does flashback, and there's a quick flashback to mom crashing a mirror and destroying his little puzzle, and he chops up mom, and so that kind of triggers him back in that mindset, and he sees the girl kind of fall apart into pieces, reflected in the mirror, and it makes him think, oh well, I can bring mommy back by cobbling her back together again.
Right.
And so that's and so he quickly decides to take the head of that girl, and he picks up the chainsaw, which there's a lawn guy, which one of the suspects is the guy that's taking care of the bushes.
Groundskeeper.
The groundskeeper. He steals
Faculty.
his. So he lifts the the chainsaw and uses it in his arsenal to take care of the bits and pieces of the young sorority girls.
Yeah, so I didn't catch that, right? I didn't until after, and I did the research after I watched it. But I did go back and watch a couple things, but because it doesn't tell you, and it doesn't baby you whatsoever. But this is about 5 or 6, 7, 8 minutes in, and the movies are already it's already telling you that it's running on this weird dream logic thing. And if you don't get that, then once you understand that, it kind of makes it easier, I guess, to accept what then follows. Because there is a little bit of tension in this film. Where what is reality, and not quite like others. Like I would say, it does very poor. Like if it's trying to make that a point or whatever, but it is there. I think Sleepaway Camp nailed that kind of thing a lot better, but there is a little bit of a built-in mystery, and it did something unique and novel for what it is. Not to say that the pieces doesn't have its own thing, but anyway, that's too much analysis for way too much analysis on that particular part of the film. But
this is Sarah, a very loud, in your face kind of movie where you could take it surface level. You can dig deeper if you want, but it's one of those movies that it's a roller coaster ride that takes you here, there, everywhere. It did start out as a 2-part mystery story, TV story. It was actually going to be kind of a mystery story that took place on TV in 2 parts. The director, Juan Picar Simon, I'm sorry if I mispronounced his name, but he took it, and they presented it to him as a 15-page synopsis, and he wrote a script from that. And he wanted to take it a little bit more extreme, and but he did get some American actors, which he didn't pick. I believe the American producer hired them and brought them over. And one of them's the famous TV actor Christopher George, and his wife Linda Day George. She goes by Linda Day in this one. But there's a couple of scenes where they're together, and you see this kind of instant chemistry, which makes sense since they're married. But they were hired on thinking it was still kind of a mystery story, and they didn't realize it was a slasher gore movie. So they when it came out, they kind of wanted to get their names off of it. And I think that's why she goes by Linda Day in this. It's Linda Day George. They weren't too happy with it, which I don't know. It does because they've done a lot of TV, and when I saw them, it triggered me. I was like, I think I've seen them on TV before. And then the groundskeeper, played by Paul Smith, he plays Willard. He's a character in this one. But I'd seen him in other things as well. He's actually there's like a hour-long interview with him on the Blu-ray. But he was Brutus in the Popeye movie. He was also he was a Harkonnen in the original David Lynch's Dune. He played one of the Harkonnen brothers with his bright orange hair. He's in Haunted Honeymoon with Gene Wilder. But yeah, he's in quite a bit of stuff. But yeah, he's a fun actor. There's not enough of Willard in this movie. Anytime he's in it, he's quite interesting. Oh yeah, and he's in Red Sonja as
Oh
well.
yeah. No, that makes sense. I've definitely seen him before. Yeah, I agree. You need more. And of course, unfortunately, he did pass away not a while ago, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that will just cause me to go look up some of his movies and rewatch them. But he was good. He was excellent in this. And I was going to say too,
and David Carradine plays his wife, and I forget the name of the movie. Sonny Boy, I think is the name.
Oh,
of the
is
movie.
it really?
Yeah, he's he's David Carradine's in drag in that one, playing his wife. Sonny Boy. That one sounded so weird. I don't think I've ever seen that movie. That one sounds like something we may have to watch at one point.
Yeah. Now, didn't the Christopher George, didn't he pass away not too long after the film?
Yeah, 1983. Yep, you're right.
Like, he died of a heart attack 6 weeks after the U.S. opening of this film, of Pieces. But anyway, just a little thing to kind of throw in there. But yeah, this is definitely. Would you call this more like Gonzo on the Gonzo end, or is it more of a? I just had my nuts. Sorry, I was like just looking at what I wanted to compare it to, contrast it with, or ask your opinion of that. Golly, like
it's kind of
grind, like a Grindhouse or versus like a Gonzo type. I mean, I guess where do you fall in with that for this?
Well, I mean, there is the Blu-ray is released by Grindhouse Releasing. So, and then there's a nice little beginning when you put the disc in. There's like that old Grindhouse intro music that they use cool. In the Quentin Tarantino double feature that they did. But yeah, there's and also there's also a documentary on 42nd Street where all the Grindhouse theaters were, which was actually I watched that as well, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's got a little bit of this. It's got bits and pieces of various things. I think there's a little giallo in there. There's some of that tension in there with the Spanish Italian kind of side of things. And
you have a very European sensibility. Yeah, one is the freedom of the we in the U.S. were prudes over here, and we definitely were back then. And they were not so prudish on
their horror was has more of an erotic flavor to it, whereas our side's more violent. So yeah, they said the director kind of constantly had to keep in mind the American side of things, so he didn't get too risque with everything. But yeah, it's not shy about showing people's bodies in this one. And but yeah, there's a little bits and pieces of various things that's and the director, you may wonder if all the humor is unintentional or not, but it's actually quite intentional. He was very keen on putting humorous stuff. Yeah, he said that it could become a kind of a slog if you make it humorless. So yeah, so the the comedy in there, maybe not all of it's intentional, but there's quite a bit of it that is clearly intentional in this movie. And there's every turn it's looking for a way to kind of amp things up. And for example, there's a scene where you have these sort of like an aerobics class or sort of dance class.
Yeah.
And he originally wanted them all to be naked, and didn't inform all of them till they got all there. And one of them was actually an aerobics instructor. She said, "Hell no, I ain't. I ain't getting naked on here. That's not how you do aerobics class. You have to have your tights on and whatnot." So the director backed off. He said, "Okay," and some of the ladies that had come there told him, "Hey, if she wasn't down, if she was down for it, we would have got naked." And so he wrote down all their names and numbers and called them back a few days later to film various nude scenes that he would use later in other movies.
Okay.
So he's very, very industrious, and when you get lemons, you find ways to make lemonade. So the guy, if you don't get the naked ladies one day, you're going to get them for
yeah. Go ahead and have a seat on the couch, Miss Thing. What's that camera there? Oh, you'll see.
I don't know if he's quite like that, but yeah,
no. He's not. I'm adding the sleazy twist to it. Yeah, yeah. Well, going back to the thing, it's definitely Gonzo. It's definitely Grindhouse. It is quintessentially inseparable from either one of those, but it does it in a like I said, it does it in a way that it does take itself seriously. And some of the parts that you want, but it also is like, are we, who the killer is, and there's a little bit of a kind of a, I wouldn't say quite hand wavy, and it's also like where Sleepaway Camp, like where they drop very, very sharp hints that are there if you put them together, whereas this one it also kind of sort of What's that?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't really concern it. There is that mystery of who it is, but
right.
You don't have to think that hard. You're it's done in less than an hour and a half. It's like 86 minutes. 83 if you watch the cut version. It's it's not one of those movies that you have to stick around for a lot. And also 70s and 80s movies can have slower paces, but this movie had quite a bit of a fast pace to it. They actually had to find and add different scenes to it just to fill out the runtime because it was such a a quick movie.
Yeah, no,
and the girl in the shower scene that gets cut in half, she was actually the daughter of the makeup lady, and the makeup lady kept saying, "Oh, my daughter wants to be in the movies," and so you might want to linger on that one because there's a little bit of nipplage. But might be,
God forbid we can't appease the gods of YouTube for showing side boob. Not even.
But yeah, so yeah, she got in on that, and he came up with he said, well, yeah, maybe don't get completely dressed in the after you get out of the shower. But
that's funny.
Yeah, I think I read a little bit on that where she got into another movie where she got naked, and then she did like a couple of movies, and then every movie offer she got, she was naked in it, so she stopped acting at that point.
Right.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah, like but they're not. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it was risque back in the day, but I mean, today it's. I wouldn't say it's quaint, but it definitely it does have good pacing. I was not bored at all. Like I will say that the timing and the pacing was pretty well done. There is virtually no world building because you're on a college campus, and why would you need world building?
But yeah, there's sort of that weird sense because it supposedly takes place in Boston, Massachusetts, and if you go watch the credits at the end, it says it's filmed in Boston, Massachusetts, but they never set foot in Boston, Massachusetts. This is Spain. They shot it in Spain. They're like a Spanish university, and there are some scenes filmed, exterior scenes filmed in America, but they're not in Boston. They were filmed in New York, and it was for a different movie that the same director did. So they none of it was in America in Boston. But yeah, there's that sense of low budget, just ingenuity in this movie that just makes a whole lot of sense. And in fact, the special effects are and the gore in it is quite good in it. There's a scene where they cut the girl in half in the shower,
Right.
and they actually used a dead pig, and they shaved it to where it was a it showed its little pink tummy, and it works quite well because you got that instant gore of the
Right.
pig as you
Right.
cut through with the chainsaw in it. And then there's that crazy scene there where the kung fu instructor shows up, and that was just to add time to the runtime. And Bruce Lee, who was a famous Bruce Lee impersonator, he was filming another movie by the producer, and he was just on the set that day checking it out, and so let's just throw you in it. And so there's a
Right.
scene that makes absolutely no sense where he gets
Yep.
into a kung fu fight with the undercover police detective. And why is he attacking her? Is he
what?
attacking her? What's going
What?
on?
Yeah. Movie that doesn't, again, the movie doesn't stop to explain anything to you. It just
Mhm.
immediately rolls into that. That's why it's it's like, is this
Mm.
a dream logic sequence or something, or
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? But it is entertaining. It is
yeah,
entertaining.
yeah. He was like, I just woke up on the floor, maybe by chop suey.
Yeah.
And I know he's Asian, but he had a really bad Asian accent.
Right. Like, overly bad, overacting at its finest.
Absolutely. And you got your main protagonist, the young college student Kendall, played by Ian Sarah, which he was actually quite good in it. I mean, no one had stellar acting in it, but he was entertaining.
Yeah.
You instantly kind of got into his character. That nerd friend of his, I forget his name, but he was fun. I wish there was more of him.
Um,
Uh, him doing I think he pops up with the mask, and he's the one that brought the note to him. He was quite entertaining. Also, I loved the Dean. Dean was Dean Riston, played by Edmund Prudhomme.
Yep.
He's very, very entertaining. I loved his performance in it.
Oh, he was good. Yeah.
He was great. Always um kind of bothered by the whole thing. I was like, oh geez, so we have to do this, but yeah, always put out. And
Right.
it's always an enjoyable scene when he shows up. But yeah, a lot of interesting characters of this movie. Um, and then there's the bad tennis. They they had to cut it together because they said Linda Day, she's supposed to be this famous tennis player, also a detective, police detective.
Hmm.
I don't know how that works out, but she's a famous tennis player. And when they hired her, the director said she can play tennis, right? And the American producer goes, she lives in California. Everybody in California knows how to play tennis. And she shows up, and she's clueless on playing tennis. So they had to get an instructor out there to even make the two of them passable in tennis. Neither one of them could play tennis. So there's a lot of quick shots, close up shots of them going, but yeah, who would know that in a slasher movie, the least believable thing would be the tennis playing in it.
Right. Right. Well, they again, sometimes they reach and stretch, and it's a little bit too high up, but but it does deliver on the. That does remind me of the noir. This might be a little bit of a reach, but I believe we did Strangers on a Train. We did that a while ago, a couple of years back, and I think one of the protagonists, the Guy Haynes character, was a professional tennis player. Well, it's just interesting. Anyway,
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw it back
Yep,
to, because
that's
we covered
yeah.
that before, but it was kind of rolling around in my brain, like, where there's this movie almost, it sometimes it will directly touch on something that you will recognize at point blank, like the Friday the 13th poster, like you had mentioned, and then sometimes it'll do like more subtle things, and I can't help but think something like that would be maybe a little bit of it, although that's just me. That's just me seeing that, not necessarily that it's true in the thing. I was going to say
Yeah.
too. I think we did Deep Red.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
nope, never mind. That was kind of sort of similar to this a little bit. But anyway, back to this one. The Dean was he was a good. I enjoyed his acting. Like, I mean, again, nobody acted like super great, but they acted with. I would say that they acted within the bounds of what you expect. Like, for example, like Sleepaway. Like, you had called out that, you know, like they used a lot of real people, and those are just kind of probably more on the head of like what you would find in that era for true, you know, teens. But nobody did a particularly horrible job above anybody else, and it fits with the aesthetic that you're given and the story. Anyway,
and
was there, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you know, it's we maybe overuse the word cult classic. All of them, the movies that we watched this month have been called cult classics.
In their own rights,
yeah. This one actually is a cult classic, but it's actually was the most popular of the movies we talked about. This movie came out 5th place in the box office the week it came out. It was in the top 5 movies as number 5. It beat out Return of the Jedi the week it came out.
Did it really?
This movie was number 5. Return was number 6. Now, of course, Return of the Jedi had been out for several months, you know, along several weeks. So you know, it was kind of dying down in the box office, but still, I mean, that's something to be said for this movie. And it was very, very successful, and it kind of inspired a lot of people that weren't really into horror to check it out, because it just seemed maybe kind of edgy, and you know, people were like, oh, maybe I should check this out. But a lot of the horror guys were kind of hesitant on it. I was reading where the president of Fangoria magazine wasn't really didn't really even think about wanting to see it, and then one of the producers convinced him to go see it, and he watched it with a crowd, and the crowd reacted so well for that movie that you know, it kind of sold him on it. Because it's one of those movies that have really great crowd reaction. And in fact, Eli Roth calls it his favorite slasher movie. There's an audio track on this movie where you could watch the movie with an audience that saw it in a theater in California live. Really? Yeah, live theater. Yeah. The next time I watch it, I may have to watch it with that just to see how people react.
Very interesting. Yeah. No, that would be actually really cool. Like, especially for like, you know, like back in time, you would never be able to recreate that, obviously, because it was back in time.
Well, yeah, I mean, back in 2012, I think it was.
Oh, okay, I got you. But still, before a live audience that, you know, maybe they had seen it. Well, that just begs more questions. But still, the point stands. You know, still the point stands. So.
Yeah. It's one of those movies, like maybe like it's one of those movies that probably would improve if you saw it with a group of friends, or even saw it in a theater. You know, just that crowd reaction. Like when I saw Weapons last year, seeing that with a crowd was very entertaining, just by their reactions to that movie.
Yeah, and sometimes you slip into those movies and you can't really tell if they're going to be that kind of type movie ahead of time, because it's just naturally organic. It just happens because the movie brings it and makes it happen. So when you can get that palatable sense of like the collective audience seeing the, you know, like, oh no, you know, don't go in there, or, you know, it's not really what, but now I think we're about 3/4 of the way in or so, definitely over half. And I was wondering, did you want to save the body count for a little bit later, or did you want to tackle that? I'll let you be the judge of that if there was another thing that you wanted to.
Yeah, maybe a little bit later. But yeah, there's another interesting tidbit. They filmed this movie, I think in November or December. I think it was December, and very cold. Like when they're doing the tennis, you can see the fog breath on them. But also there's a scene where the girl gets into the swimming pool, you know, topless, and she almost got hypothermia because it was so cold, because it was freezing in there, and she almost died. So not a good time for her. Also, there's there's that interesting puzzle of the naked lady that the guy's kind of obsessed over. I'm
Right.
kind of as I was watching it, I was like, wow, that would be a cool little extra for physical media. And I found out my version of the box set does not have it, but they did do like a limited 1,000 ish uh release of it with the puzzle in it. Grindhouse did it, and then Arrow Video also did a version where there was like 1,000 with the puzzle. That would have been cool to get, but you know, oh well.
Oh
But
man, that's awesome.
but yeah, if you're out there in the audience and you've got that, let us know. Let us know how cool that is.
Or you'll look like this disappointed lass who's probably going to be murdered in the next 15 seconds.
Yes, while we were out here fumbling with that music, the lousy bastard was in there killing her. Bastard! Bastard! Bastard!
Yeah, so some very iconic lines and just kind of out of the blue, like just material that it could only be done in a movie like this, for sure.
Professor Brown, you see, is a homosexual.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
there's I'll send you a case of lollipops. There is a interesting thing with this movie and our last movie, Alice Sweet Alice. In Alice Sweet Alice, it takes place in the 60s, and they go into the police station. You see the picture of Kennedy on the wall. And in this movie, I noticed they're at this records, looking at the records, the police detective and the college student, and on the wall was a picture of Ronald Reagan on the wall. I was, hey,
That's funny.
we got presidents. I don't know if the other two movies, I don't think they had presidents in them, but and another interesting fact about the movies we watched this month, you know, slashers, you think immediately sequels, and the only one that had sequels of the movies we watched was Sleepaway Camp, because The Burning didn't have a sequel.
Nope.
Alice Sweet Alice didn't have a sequel, and this movie didn't, which is kind of surprising because of all of the movies. This one probably did the best, and they kept talking about maybe doing a sequel, and the director wanted to do one, but they never got around to it. And it's kind of odd because this would have name recognition and a built-in audience for it. So, although the way it ended, there it would be interesting how they would do that. Yeah, go ahead.
It did end in a very interesting way, for sure.
Yeah. We could as we're getting close towards the end, I will say that there isn't as far as I know, there's not a 4K of it, but the Blu-ray again is readily available from Grindhouse. I did give you a link for Orbit DVD
Yes.
for it. The cool thing is a 3-disc set, and you get the Blu-ray, like I said, of the movie, and you get a bonus Blu-ray of extras, but you also get a CD of the music of the soundtrack. The interesting thing about the soundtrack is on the American version, they just had like incidental music from cobbled together from various different soundtracks and stuff, whereas the Spanish one actually had an original soundtrack. So if you did watch the American version, you don't get the full original soundtrack. So it does have the CD in there. So that's kind of cool if you're a audiophile and like having soundtracks. And it's kind of interesting. It's if you go in there, you got the little box and you have the Blu-ray, but they just kind of shoved the CD with the music and a little sleeve by itself. There is also a little booklet with a essay on it in there as well. But very nice put together. Like I said, you got an hour interview with the director. You got an hour interview with Paul Smith, who plays Willard. There's actually this is like it's off a 4K transfer. They did do a DVD version of it in I think 2008, and this came out in 2013. But they kept like all the little, you know how DVDs used to have like little Easter eggs on them, and you don't really get that with Blu-rays and 4Ks now. But there are some little Easter eggs on here. If you start fiddling around with the menu, it'll go to little interesting little places. So you'll get a couple of extra little fun things if you play around with the menu. And then, but yeah, there's, like I said, there's a full feature length documentary on, 42nd Street. And it's got interesting interviews with a bunch of, Grindhouse directors, and you got, a lot of different, like the director of, let's see, I forget. Anyway, but they've got the guy who directed Gremlins is Joe Dante's in it.
Okay.
John Skip, who's like a splatterpunk writer, is interviewed. Frank Hindenlotter, who directed Frankenhooker. That was what I was trying to think of. Basket Case. But yeah, there's a lot of different interesting interviews with those people. Just talking about 42nd Street. Doesn't really pertain to Pieces, but Pieces was shown on 42nd Street during the hype of that time. So, but yeah, it's a very interesting documentary. I kind of threw it on just to start watching it, and ended up watching the whole thing because it's very, very highly entertaining. So, definitely check that out if you want. But yeah, a very, very cool Blu-ray, and like I said, I don't know, it was off of a 4K transfer, so I'm sure they could release a 4K of it, which maybe they will in the future. But the Blu-ray looked very nice, so I'm happy with the Blu-ray. But yeah, it's available from, I think, Grindhouse releasing their website, or I always like to promote Orbit DVD. They're good, so that's also a place you could check out, which we'll probably have it in the links down there. But yeah, I'm the physical media guy, so I have to shill for the the Blu-ray, although it is showing on Tubi as well. But
Yeah. Well, I was able to find a good copy, which would explain why the foreign language was first for some of the really good primo ones that I found. That would explain that. But either way, I was able to. I didn't have any complaints on the version I was able to pull down and watch. It was a really good quality. I'm sure physical media, if you have that, it's always better to have that on hand, because then you're not at the mercy of whoever did whatever rip at the right time at the right place, and and if you can get it. Sometimes it can take a minute, but for the most part, if it's more popular, you're going to have a better chance of finding it and all that good stuff. But
so yeah, let's talk about that ending. So spoiler alert, you find out that it's the Dean. Dun dun dun.
Yeah, the Dean.
And the Dean, the weird Dean. But yeah, he's he puts a little drug in Lady Cop's tea or coffee, and he's gonna, maybe, because she has the perfect feet. He notices that the lady that he got the legs from, the shoes don't fit properly on her feet, so he's gotta get the feet. But yeah, he's got his Frankenstein lady, and at the same time, the cops and the student figure out that it's the Dean as well. So it's a race against time to get to the Dean's office. And I really like the Dean as the killer. And there's a little tension there because he's hiding behind the curtains. And you don't know what's gonna happen. And he jumps out, and there's the whole thing. And then there's the very last scene. Yeah. There's the crotch grab.
Again, going back to the scene, that the interview that skateboard lady had that sparked this whole, kicked off his obsession or whatever with the bastard. It jump started that thing to him. That's what, that's that. But even with that, there's this just magical scene of just this razor sharp claw human hand that just maims the shit out of this poor dude, who probably had it coming. Maybe, I don't know. It's maybe a little bit of a of a little bit of anyway. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. It's a weird, it's European, exploitation, kind of like supernatural ish kind of thing going on. I don't know, but like it's a head scratcher, but you will never see another ending like that.
Yeah.
Quite visceral. Like, right. I mean, you can't look away. It's right there. It's like, it's anyway. Yeah. What'd you think? I mean, how'd you take it?
It's one of those you're even though it's coming, it still surprises you. It's one of those things with slasher movies. You got the whole the fake death. There's the jump scares. You have to kill the killer 5 times before he actually dies at the end. There's so many fake endings to a horror movie, a slasher movie specifically, that becomes like when you get to that point, a lot of times you're like, oh, come on, really? Oh, he's coming back again. Okay, we gotta get through this because this is a slasher and you have to do that. With this one, it's sort of like very unexpected and very original, and it just kind of knocks your socks off for a second. And you go, oh, wow, they actually did that. It's very surreal and crazy. And
just like the other things of the movie that are surreal, that kind of touch reality, but then it kind of puts you through it. And it's like, what the hell?
Yeah. They're like, oh, well, they're doing that. Oh, it's like, a lot of them, I guess we're naturally getting to the kill count, and they consider that a kill, which I think Kendall can survive that. But maybe he doesn't want to. I don't.
I don't. I wouldn't call. I mean, it's right at the. It's so lazy. If that's a kill, it's at the very end. If that's, I don't know. I don't know. No,
so
I don't think so.
So I don't include that as a kill, and we're not including the killers dying as a kill as well, because if there's a sequel, he would come back, I'm sure, the Dean. So yeah, my kill count for this movie is at 6. I don't know if you agree or not with that, but
yeah,
that's including the mom.
Okay. I don't think I included the mom. Maybe I didn't, because I had 5. I counted 5. I was trying to find my breakdown, but I think we're close. We're not far away.
Mm-hmm.
And I could easily allow the mom, because it is true. That is the thing, and he even pins it off. Successfully. He's a little con artist right away. So like, no wonder this guy became a dean, and 40 years later, and he's like the king of the hill.
The killer. But so up until this, movie, our kill count was 23 over all the movies, and we add 6 to that, so we're at 29. We didn't get an even 30, but 29 is pretty good. So maybe next year, if we do another slasher series,
I think we'll see.
Yeah. We can see if we can get past the 30 or not.
Yeah, and we'll also have to do a kill count on the website too to do it, if I can ever get my house in order and get the damn thing done. It only took 3 or 4 years before we before I actually got a damn one out. Anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
Although I did have permutations of them, but they didn't last.
Right.
But anyway, not that anybody is pounding down our doors for us to have a website. But anyway, yeah, no, like I said, I had 5, and I don't know why I don't have my thing here. I can't find it for shit. But 6. But this one was a good. This one was everything the other ones were. I guess they are, but in a much more zany, all-out direction, and it works for this film very, very much. I think more so than maybe some of the other ones, like where they're a little bit more like accidental, or like on purpose, kind of like they work. Like, I think that's the common thread though through all of these, are like without the schlock of the I don't know, beach babes being chased by like a chainsaw masked alien. That's the only other thing that you can get that would be, just kind of makes you roll your eyes and be like, I don't want to watch that. But they all are unique entrants to the slasher category. absolutely not.
This one knows what it is, and
Yeah.
it just revels. It rolls around in the mud,
Yeah.
and it pulls you down. And I like the tagline. It's exactly what you think it is,
Yeah, it is.
because it is. So, and I gotta say, this movie, a lot of times with the 70s and 80s horror movies that are this gory and kind of go that level, there's an element of sleaze to it. Whereas this
Mhm.
movie, even though it does
Not
have like
really.
there's like a bunch of naked ladies and
Right.
a lot of shenanigans, it doesn't have that greasy kind of feel to it. It's much more clean and you don't feel like you're rolling around in the mud with it.
I
It's
mean, it's not, you're not going to watch it at Sunday school either, but at the same
yeah, you're
time,
not gonna say, "Hey, mom, I got a movie you can watch with me."
it, it still has a restrained, yeah, no, it still has a restrained nature of it. It's not just, like outright, like every second of the film is just packed with ass cheeks, or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
not that, but I think I like the way you said it. Like this one knows what it is, pretty well right off the bat, and it executes along that
Yep.
line
Yep.
pretty well.
And if you don't mind reading books, I know some people just like watching movies, but if you don't mind cracking open a book and reading, I will recommend a horror writer. And I'm sorry I didn't have a link for it. I was just kind of thinking about the earlier today. There's a writer named Richard Laymon who is very he's no longer with us, but he's a fantastic MON, Richard Laymon, Laymon. But yeah, he's the one right there. But yeah,
Oh yeah, right.
he's a fantastic writer. His stuff is kind of gory. It's like he's similar to Stephen King, but he goes there. He gets big into the gory stuff. It's
Yeah.
he knows what he likes, and he kind of revels in sort of like he's certain authors that get very intellectual. This writer knows what he's doing. Is a bit schlocky. It's a bit very much over the top. But yeah, it's sort of like the written version of this movie. So if you're kind of looking for a writer that is
Excellent.
similar to this, I would definitely recommend his stuff. You can pick up any of his books. They're a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I read him, but I loved everything that I read by him. But yeah, he's sort of one of those guilty pleasures in that maybe you don't want other people to know you're actually reading his stuff. But it's like I said, it's a lot of maniacs with knives chasing nubile women. It's it's a thing,
Well, he does go there, that's for sure. I just read the title of the. Well, we are always on the lookout for excellence in all media, and that's excellence in entertainment. For what you would derive value of. There's always that. It's always good to have a good author on tap for you to go explore, especially if you've always kind of curious. Because I don't know about you, but like I think we're not dissimilar from the standpoint of like. We are big readers for the genres that we like to consume. And when we do read them, it is good to have those on hand because there's still like a bunch that I'm big in sci-fi, but sci-fi, after a while, it's like, okay, I kind of got the thing down. It would be nice to like, dip into fantasy, and I have accumulated quite a few from you for fantasy for me to dip into. When the time comes, when this fall kicks off, it's always my big reading season every year for whatever reason. But yeah, no, this one was fun to watch, and it again, it's not over the top, in any one direction, but it gives you it delivers in ways that keep you watching. It was entertaining, and I like again like you like I kind of like I this is back pre. Horror was, I just kind of balled up all horror as like a slasher type, and I'm not interested in that. It's not true. But there's also other ones that are permutations of that, like which you can appreciate. So when you do go to watch the standard, that everybody reaches for, you can be like, I know a little bit more about this genre than most. And it can help you enjoy it. Cause I know that there was always like, oh, they did that a little bit different. But anyway, I digress. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as a little tiny bonus treat, I was going to recommend if you're like into comic books, there's a YouTube channel that I linked you, Magic the Gavening. This is a young guy. He's talking about universities and college kids. He's a college kid. He's into comic books. He did a video that I watched first, which was Marvel comic books are bad now, where he kind of goes through and gives his take on why he doesn't like a lot of the current Marvel comic books, and he
Right.
takes a Marvel comic series, limited series about Rogue that he just kind of deconstructs, and he does a really good, entertaining deconstruction of it. He also did a one on old Flash comic books and his favorite comic book of all times. But yeah, it's very entertaining. He's got an interesting take on things, and it's always interesting.
That's funny.
We're kind of old fogies. Sometimes
He's
it's
got good taste.
yeah, sometimes it's good to see what the younger generation is talking about, and find that maybe we're not as far off as you would think in our thinking. We all want something that's well written and is good quality. So yeah, check out this channel if you're into comic books and are interested in what people are thinking about comics, because when I go into the comic shop and see all of us old guys shuffling around getting our comics, you start to worry about the future of comics. But this kid and a lot of different younger YouTubers that are into comic books, they're the next generation, and I'm glad that they're picking up the torch and carrying it on into the future.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And to your point too, I know that, you had criticism for some of the more, bigger, wider, louder folks out there, not naming anyone in particular, but like some of those, your criticism was like, well, yeah, maybe you were right 6 months ago, but you're not really talking about the good ones that are actually out now today, or like this was a while ago,
Right. Yeah.
but that's another thing too, is like, there's always new stuff coming out. And
Mhm.
and it's fun to be curious and to look and to see and to explore. And maybe it's not for you or whatever, but it's also fun to just kind of have some familiarity with other things that maybe you would never normally like watch or see or read. I know that's as I get older, my time window for new stuff gets a little bit shorter, but I do kind of crack the door open and I'm not afraid to ask, hey,
Well,
I mean, what's the worst that you're out 2 hours or, you're out, whatever. But, and I rarely come into contact with that, but it's also fun to go and see new things too.
yeah.
Whether that, but, and I also echo you, to your point about the youth. That's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
it's what,
There's Yeah, you have your negative Nancy's out there, the guys
right.
that want to tear things down. That, like you were saying, as come something in the craw about, it's easy. People like drama. Everybody likes when you tear down something. But it's a much more challenging to take something like with this guy. He's was really into '60s Flash comic books, and
Uh-huh.
he makes a case for their importance. And it's always fascinating when you someone tries to make their case on something
Right.
that you not might not naturally go towards, but they do such a good and entertaining um pitch for why they like it, why it's important, why it's entertaining, that it's almost kind of wins you over, and you go, hey, maybe I will
Absolutely.
check that out. So it's much more, it's a lot more of a challenge to that and do it successfully, and I think his channel does that in spades, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, and to that, there are also a lot of YouTube creators that I've followed over the years, just from their sheer enthusiasm that's
Mhm.
authentic. Like when they get to going and they
Yeah.
start talking about this new storyline or that. Not only am I learning about this new whatever that I had no clue about, but also like how they come across is also
Yeah.
just as is infectious as
Yeah.
a good review. Yeah, and it's also cool to be able to, like you say, like that's how you got. Sometimes you got to find your in, or it can take somebody from like that. I think there was a gal that was in the last year or so, like she kind of blew up, but she did the whiteboard, and then she kind of broke down. I think she broke down a really complicated Lord of the Rings something. Anyway, it was entertaining. It was just she kind of started, but she had like this. I think it was fish something or whatever. But anyway, I think that was her shtick. But that's cool. Like that's cool. Like to be able to pull something out of old media or new media, and then be able to share that with other folks that are out there, because it's God knows we're already AI deep in the whatever, but it's nice to see real authentic people that care and are unafraid to show their opinion. So good on you. Good on you, Magic Gavening. That's also a dope name.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But his promise is to put out a video every end of the month on Sunday. So
Right on.
so yep, that's what he did this that one just came out a day ago, his most important comic book ever written. Uh
That
there's a
looks
little
familiar. Yeah. Yep.
there's a little twist there. But yeah, he does a great job of telling a story. And I hope that we do a similar thing of
Indeed.
looking at things and not being negative Nancy's. We try to share our excitement and joy
Yeah.
for what we're talking about, and hopefully inspire you as well, audience. And getting back to it, we're finishing up slasher summer. We'll be on to something else next week. But let us know what your favorite slasher movie is. Maybe we'll consider that next year or whenever we do this slasher thing again. Let us know what we missed and what we should have covered.
Yeah, I've been Mike, and I've been reassembled from Better Podcast.
And I'm Tom, looking for a good jigsaw puzzle.
Right on.
I think my first one was